Before there were empires, before there were armies, before there was even a name called Turk, there was only the land. A land vast, unforgiving, untouched. The Altai Mountains. Here begins the story. Not of a nation, but of a people. Born from the earth and shaped by survival.
This is where it all began.
Stretching across 4 modern nations. From the cold forests of the north to the open highlands of the east, to the dry lands of the south, and the endless steppes of the west. Winter arrives without warning. It buries the earth. Only the strongest endure. Temperatures fall beyond mercy.
And the wind never stops in this world.
Survival is not given. It is earned. But then the land changes. The ice retreats.
The rivers breathe again. Summer is short.
And movement. The Altai does not give comfort.
It creates strength. It teaches rhythm.
Timing and patience. And patience. This land shapes those who live in it. Not settlers, not city builders, but wanderers, moving with the seasons. Following life itself, they carried their homes and built their world wherever they stood. They did not fight the land. They moved with it. And when the land could no longer sustain them,
bring the horses to the water!
Let's move, we still have far to go.
and when the land could no longer sustain them, they divided. Half stayed and half moved on. The sky belonged to the hunters, masters of precision. The earth to the runners. Freedom in motion. And in the shadows, silence ruled. The land was alive, in every direction, in every breath, and in every moment. They watched. They learned.
They adapted.
The animals were not separate.
They were part of life itself. Everything had meaning. Everything had purpose. And everything was connected. The sky, the earth,
and life were one. In the Altai,
nothing existed alone. Everything belonged. They did not see land. They saw spirit. They did not see fire. They saw life. They believed in something greater. They saw life. They believed in something greater. In the unseen, in the unknown, they were not yet a nation, not yet united, but they were becoming stronger.
Before any empire, there was only this land. The Altai Mountains, untouched, unforgiving, and the birthplace of the nomads. Out here, life was earned by the sword and mastered on horseback.
We were warriors, riders of the steppe, trained from childhood to endure.
From unity rose a name that would echo through history: Turk.
In that name would soon become an empire. Follow for more.
More aware, more connected. Skills were forming. Speed, precision, and discipline. Leadership began to emerge. Pastoral nomadism is a way of life based on herding livestock and moving cyclically or seasonally to reach pasture. Herders moved to find grazing for animals. Movements often followed a regular pattern between wintering areas and summer pastures. Explain that livestock were the economic core of nomadic society. The chapter should focus on horses, sheep, goats, and other herd animals as food, transport. Secure the lattice frame tightly. We must ensure everything is packed efficiently for the journey ahead.
I offer you these furs in exchange for grain. It is a fair price. The grazing looks better to the west. We must reach it before nightfall.
Agreed. The herd needs sustenance for the journey ahead.
Their mobile way of life created the habits that made larger confederations possible, adapting across huge distances. Across the vast grasslands stretching from the Altai Mountains into the open steppe, human communities developed a system of survival that would define them for centuries.
They were not wanderers without purpose. They were pastoral nomads, people whose lives were built around movement, animals, and the rhythms of the land.
Nomadic life in Central Asia was not random wandering. It was a structured ecological system. Historians and anthropologists describe this way of life as pastoral nomadism, a survival strategy developed for environments where farming was difficult. The land of the Altanding steppe, but not endlessly generous.
Grasslands could support herds, but only if they were allowed to recover. So the people moved, not aimlessly, but in patterns shaped.
Before there were empires, there was movement. A way of life shaped by motion, by seasons, by pasture, and by survival.
They did not stay still, because stillness meant danger. Movement meant life.
This was the world of the nomads, a world without borders, but not without order, not without memory, not without purpose. Everything began with movement. They moved because the land demanded it. Grass did not last forever. Water could disappear.
And animals could not survive on empty ground. So they watched. They measured the season.
The weather, the condition of the land, the needs of the herd. And then they packed. Not in panic, but in rhythm.
This was not random wandering. It was an ecological system, a strategy for survival.
Learned young and remembered across generations. The root mattered.